Good afternoon, everybody. Today is September 22nd, 4:29 p.m., and we're going to talk about some pretty important information, and I'm going to open the yard, and let me get things going here where, let's see, do that, and let me pull up where you can see me. Hi, and we're going to talk about... let's see where I can see comments. I'm rusty. I'm in StreamYard, so yeah, and I had some glitches with the YouTube doing the where I can see the black screen, whatever, you know what I mean. So that way I can put the link and stuff so people can join in on the conversation. Today we're going to talk about our identity. We're going to talk about spiritual law. We're going to talk about freedom. And then we're going to openly share about these fundamental truths that reside within each of us. And this process that we are going through or have chosen to go through. Let me know if my sound is okay and that everybody can hear me all right. Because I don't know. I'm on this side. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm hoping so. So much is going on right now on the world stage, in private lives. So much. So many things to distract us, to pull us away from the inner truth that resides within each of us. And for people to say that, they can do the work for you or to try to guide. We can teach one another, but the choice is an independent choice that is made from within us, because the work actually has to be done by us for us to grow into this awareness. Now, we have talked about the affirmations of how Skywatchers will see things like what's going on within them reflected out like a mirror. And how true is that? And also we see that through our voice and sound that things around us will, be affected and affect the skies with your what was called the Merkaba, which is the traveling. You call it how we travel into this avatar and how we travel back out. And then we have, of course, our aura field or our toroidal field, which is from, our heart is a magnet, and what we put out is then magnified back onto us. And we have our mind, and in our mind, we have the third eye, or the born from above, which by having the born from above experience, that makes that bridge over onto the other side. And what happens is we start to see people start like age regressing, understanding the higher laws, the true laws, and then overcoming the laws by knowing the truth of the laws, and then walking in a freedom so blessed and blessing others with just unconditional pure love. And it's an absolute amazing journey. It's an amazing thing to go through. Looks like we have only 3. Wow. Come on, guys, where is everybody? I did send, I need to be checking in StreamYard, because I did send the link already to one person. And like I said, I'm going to open the yard for anybody who wants to come in and participate in this conversation, with always sharing what we know so we can listen and grow. This journey that we embark is a choice. We make the choice to go after things that are above, things that are higher. So we come from the conscious, where we then, have the experience in the carnality or the mortal. And, then we begin to understand the subconscious. And if we try to program our subconscious from the carnality or the mortal world, it's not really that, it's not possible. We need to bridge that gap. We need to seek for things higher. We need to seek for the higher law, the principalities of truth that reside within each of us. There's nobody excluded. Nobody. Everybody has the right to choose for themselves if they are wanting to embark on this journey. But we can't. One of the things we need to think on is when we go in and endeavor for this, it's an inside job and it is inner work. It's work that we do within ourselves. It's not work that we do in order to change others around us. What happens is the changes that happen from within us, then things change around us. So looking at the duality, or having two powers, or when we know there's only one, there's one God, there's nothing that can take the place of God. There's only one God. Okay, so when we come into the oneness of that understanding, then the duality, the good, evil, bad, good, then when we start to understand that what that actually is that we're experiencing is an anomaly of spiritual law. And the spiritual law is written in the scriptures. It is written in every Gnostic text. You can find it in the hieroglyphs. You can find it everywhere. Spiritual law is written everywhere. But until we get through that bridge, or have that aha awakening, that bridge is open, we can't quite understand what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and let bring Double O in, because he is very, very conscious, very aware. And so, yeah. Oh, did I not set a background? Hi, Richie. I really woke Richie, or 007, whichever you're wanting to go by.
At the moment, I'm just Richie and I.
You just
How you doing?
Really woke Richie. I'm doing good. I'm really doing good. I haven't been, I'm sure you've noticed, live streaming a lot. Let me look and see. I guess I don't have my background up. Let me check out here to see. There we go. There we go. Now we got my background up. I was talking about, I don't know how much you caught. I was talking about the third eye, or what some would call being baptized from the Holy Spirit baptism, which is like the pineal gland being awakened, which builds that bridge. So then we get to the higher understandings, understandings, where we become self-aware, and then the work and the process starts to go on within us, and we start to change. And what I've noticed is many people actually start to look younger, healthier, and start age regressing. And then you can tell when they're walking the path, because they will continue to age regress. And then when we fall back or slip, and we go back under the spiritual law of the karma, what you send out, what you reap, you will sow, then they will start to age again. So then you can kind of, basically look in the mirror yourself and see that if you've slipped. But we have always, and not many people talk about this, we always have, there's a higher law, even of the karmic law, which is of the law of forgiveness and grace. But to go to the law of forgiveness and grace, we first must know where we went in error. We can't just go to the law of forgiveness and grace without knowing where we made our mistake. It's not just I go there, I say this, and it's all taken care of. We have to acknowledge what we've done. Therefore, knowing in our heart, we do not want to do it again. So therefore, we can go to the law of grace, the law of forgiveness, have that wiped out, and then continue on in our path. The spiritual law is higher than anything that would be carnal, anything like that, like the police or the physical laws. Then the spiritual law, all of us are under spiritual law until we can overcome it. But we have help. And, I've said many times that I don't really want to do the beyond quantum healing, but, people get stuck. And if they are so indoctrinated or their subconscious is so stuck into one paradigm, then it would be actually better to go ahead and have that session done and have that breakthrough and allow then for you to start doing the inner work within. So it should be a one-time go in, repair, find out what's going on within, and then move on forward. So I am rethinking that because we know nothing can hurt us here unless we think it can. And even you, Richie, I've noticed that you have started to age regress. You're looking younger, healthier, stronger. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
I think that's just the inbuilt apps on the bloody phone, man.
No, quit it. It's true.
Okay, so I've got something to say about that, what you said about grace. Have I told you about Levette?
Levette?
Yeah, have I shared any of Levette's stuff with you?
No. And even if you had, please do share, because I'm sure there's people that have not heard. I'm going to turn my cam off.
Do you know quantum of conscience?
Yes. Conscience?
Yeah. Conscience, yeah. Quantum of conscience. Matt, his name is.
Yeah. He actually named his channel Conscience.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to make sure I had the right one. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a Mandela effect then, because it was just quantum of conscience, as in conscience.
Yeah, he admitted that he did that on purpose.
He talks about Levette. If I don't know how much you've seen of him, but he's always talked about Levette. So a couple of years ago, when I first started watching him and picking up on what he was saying, I went and subscribed to Levette's channel, but I didn't really. It's not that what she was saying wasn't resonating. It's just that I didn't feel like I was ready for it yet. It felt like I needed to get some other background information before I could sort of fully appreciate what she was saying. So a couple of years passed by, and then it was, I don't know, about 4 to 6 weeks ago, I came across her again. One of her videos got suggested to me, and I went and I was like, oh yeah, man, the vet, God, completely forgot about her. So I went and watched the video, and straight away it was just screaming at me, like, this woman knows what she's talking about. She has put it all into, basically, we are, the way that we write reality, the way that we manifest our futures and our own personal realities, the way that we do it, it's all linked to the stars. It's all linked to the astrology. It's about astrology and alchemy. She said what drives us through the day, day to day, and this is why people can't seem to get control of their own manifestations, because of their subconscious. Their subconscious has been programmed to whatever it is that you're going through. Like, we're all basically, all of our subconscious is programmed with this lack. There's not enough of anything. It's a dog eat dog world. We've got a, it's hate your neighbor, don't love your neighbor. All of this fear programming that they've really, really, really gone all out to install us with. The way the subconscious works is through symbols. It can't read language. It doesn't understand words. It understands symbols. And symbols are linked to alchemy. Alchemy is linked to astrology. And astrology is linked to the scriptures, undeniably. And she's gone over the last, I don't know how long she's been doing it, it's been years, but she's basically mapped it out exactly how the scriptures correspond to the movement of the stars over the last 2,000 years or whatever. She uses stellarium, which obviously has its issues, because but the thing is, stellarium's actually quite cool because it's based around the stars revolving around us, which is exactly what happens. They actually, with stellarium, they're portraying it. It's not like, because obviously I don't believe in the globe, or I'm absolutely adamant that very resolute about the fact that they've lied to us about the shape of the earth. So stellarium's good because it actually puts the earth in the center of the universe with everything spinning around it, and that's what I think is going on here. This is a realm. We are the center of our realm. There's got to be other land outside of this realm. There's got to be other existence, like dimensions or whatever, but the stars revolve around us. We're not traveling through the stars, and that's evidenced through the complete lack of parallax and the fact that the stars have been fixed in their positions for the last 2,000 years, which would be impossible if we were traveling at however many million miles an hour it is through the universe.
Well, I just wanted to make this comment. Whether you believe it's flat and fixed, or you believe in outer space, that is.
No, I don't think I never said it was flat.
No. Let me finish what I'm saying. What my point is that it is evolving the consciousness into the subconsciousness into more, into limitless, or any possibility or probability. So whether there's land that goes on and on and on, or if it's outer space, therefore you are expanding your awareness, and therefore following down into your consciousness and experiencing more. Instead of lack, you are actually expanding. Either way, whichever way that you feel is the truth, that still is an expansion in the subconscious and following down into the consciousness, and therefore interacting it within your life. So both of them, I can see potential in.
Because we're the co-creators in this reality, so whatever our collective perception, the perception of the collective consciousness, that's what's going to be prevalent within the realm. So now we're at a stage now, I think this is why Mandela effect and all of it exists, because we're at a point now where the confusion is so great that the collective consciousness, I think the collective consciousness is confused. So the earth is in a lot of people's perception, the earth is a globe, and in a lot of other people's perception it's flat, and in other people, and so at the moment this realm doesn't
really know what it is, and it's in a state of flux between the different perceptions. Because if our collective, it's all about, like it says in the scripture, Jesus said, if the two of you share the same thought, you have the same
if two or more touch
intention.
onto one thing, it shall be done unto them. That's talking more about, like, if I see you as a success and I am affirming that, and that's how I see you, I'm sending a blessing over to you. And let's say I have my husband sitting with me and he comes into agreement. Therefore, you will be blessed because two of us have come together and we see you as a success. So when we're talking about, like, on the quantum level of us each manifesting and co-creating, we can reach to a point through the overcoming the spiritual law, through understanding the law of grace and forgiveness, which is a higher law. And therefore, we will actually walk through a paradigm that we are so blessed and so full of love and seeing nothing but beauty all around us. And all of these little things that we squabble about, they're meaningless. It just becomes, it kind of falls to the wayside.
This is the whole point why I brought Lavette up, is because she's said something, she's mentioned something, and I just think it makes sense, right? She's saying that Revelations has already happened, right? We've already had basically
it's a repeating
Satan
book.
locked up for 1,000 years. Satan locked up for 1,000 years. Now Satan is out, and he's been allowed out because he gets let out again. She says that the KJV is, because it was, I don't know how much research people have done into things like Shakespeare, but when you research really deeply into Shakespeare, you find out that the common consensus among those who know is that Shakespeare is actually Sir Francis Bacon. Well, Sir Francis Bacon is the guy that did the final edit on King James's Bible. He's the one that had the final draft. He actually encoded the KJV with a lot of Masonic symbolism and stuff. And so she says it's basically written by the elite for the elite. It's not written for us. And what because it all plays into a much bigger picture. One of the things that's been talked about is the Mayans and the Mayan calendar, and everybody thought in 2012 that was going to be the end of the Mayan calendar, the end of that cycle. But the Jewish and the Ethiopian calendar, which is the oldest calendar on Earth and unchanged, it's New Year. They've just had New Year, and it's now 2013. It's not 2000, so it was 2012. This year was actually 2012. The big conjunction that happens every 20 years and every 200 years or something. It's really sort of strong or powerful conjunction. Saturn and Jupiter and Venus, I think. That's coming up this year. So this year was actually 2012. This year, there's a huge conjunction, really meaningful and powerful conjunction. All of the planets have been in retrograde over the last, like Mars went into retrograde about a week, 10 days ago, beginning of September. So September is going to be a really tumultuous month anyway. But what she was saying, because you mentioned grace, she's saying that we have been living in the age of grace. And what we're going into with Aries, we're moving from Pisces to Aries. So we're going from grace into karma. And there will be no grace you will basically reap what you sow, and it will be instant. So we've all been building up karma over the last, well, our entire lives, because we've been living in the age of Pisces. Those people that have done nothing but good and felt that the world has just done nothing, the universe has done nothing but crap on them, and other people have done nothing but crap on them. It doesn't matter how much good they do, they don't seem to get it back. And they see all these other people that are doing nothing but bad, but they're getting paid, they seem to be living the life of variety. That's all going to change. It's all going to change big time. And the people that have been doing bad, it's coming back on them big time.
Well,
so we all need to get our houses in order, man, and get our karma straight.
Well, as we understand the spiritual law, which is a higher law, like I said in the beginning, the police, they do the mortal law or carnal law, right? And then as we understand spiritual law, we have to take into account that understanding the spiritual law, that yes, the reaping and sowing comes directly back.
Michelle,
the responsibility of what comes into effect.
Okay, I think it's extremely important for us to realize that what we consider to be spiritual law isn't necessarily
karma law,
divine. Like there's the infinite intelligent divine.
Your mic's messing up, bud.
Law, which is this one. Yeah, it's linked to the celestial movements. So, like when Levette goes back through Stellarium and she marks the dates and the positions of the stars, and then the things that have happened on Earth in those times, the big wars, all of these things, they're all marked in the stars. You can see when, it's all like when Mars has gone through Aries and or been in its house, and it's all really crazy when you listen to it, because it's all linked to the Greek and Roman gods, also the Oriental gods. What they've done as well with the whole horoscope, zodiac, astrological, astrotheology and whatever, they've mixed up 3 different zodiacs. We've got an Oriental zodiac with the Leviathan, and I forget which other ones from the Oriental. And they've done their absolute best to confuse everything, mix and match everything together. But when it seems that when you dig down to the roots of it, it's all mapped in the stars, and you can't predict the future, but you can predict the energies that are going to be either complemented or suppressed, either inflamed or doused. So it's we're coming to a really, really good time, man. But the end, it's not actually going to start getting easier until sort of like April, May next year, because that's when Mars comes into its own house or something, or comes out of retrograde, and I don't know. So much information.
I put the link for the yard for people to come in and join in on this conversation. As we know, from my own personal experiences of evolving through this, that understanding the spiritual law, which would be karmic law, reaping what we sow, it does come back onto us much quicker than if you are still asleep.
People must notice now that, like, compared to sort of 15 or 20 years ago, people must notice now when it's something bad much quicker. You notice when you say something you say something like derogatory about somebody or whatever, and then you stub your toe almost immediately afterwards, or hit your head or something, you know. And it's, I don't know if that's just an awareness of it. So maybe it's always been like that, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's karma, instant karma.
But then you go to the, when you know that you've, said something, realize that when we're looking around at other people, if you look at them as if they're you, because we all come from the one. There is actually not two powers. That's in our confusion. In our confusion, we made the thought of evil, and therefore we impressed it upon the subconscious, and then consciously, then we are interacting with it. So with spiritual law is the higher law of the moral or carnal law. And it is truly that with spiritual law, what we do to another, which is the same as us, we are all, we'll talk about what our true identity is here in just a little bit. But what we are doing to another, you need to understand, and we all need to understand, we're doing that to ourselves because it will come back to us, just like rubber and glue. We say that when we're a kid. Everything you say, I'm rubber, you're glue, everything you say bounces off of me and sticks back to you. So true, because our heart's a magnet. What we put out from our heart will magnify back onto us. So, once we get that bridge opened, we get into that higher understanding. It starts to permeate within us, and then we start to flow with the new understanding, and we grow and glean and learn and just appreciate the divinity that is within every single person. It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful, but it's people's sovereign choice. You brought up Revelations earlier. Let me just finish on that because of you brought up Revelations earlier. Revelations is actually like a circular book, and it also can transpire on the world stage in one way, but also it will also transpire within us personally as we go through this metamorphosis that's going on within us. Once that bridge has been opened, or that third eye, or the baptism from above, and we start to then get the information from a higher source connected back to our actual creator, and then it going into the subconscious and then experiencing it consciously. So we'll go through the revelation type in a personal way from our choice to go forward and make the journey of exploring who we are in truth. But on the world stage, it is a circular book. If you look back over time, they had 88 reasons for why the rapture, they call it the rapture, was going to happen in 1988. If you look back over time, they've had revelations over and over and over on the world stage to be, predicting it over and over again. So it will manifest on multiple layers based on what we're looking for, or where we stand, or where we understand with knowing who we are in truth. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Richie.
Right, I've not mastered this yet. This is something that's not easy to do at all.
We can't do it with our own power.
It's all about being in the moment, and
Yes.
being in the now, and being present in all your faculties, being present in the now. So being aware and having control of everything you think and everything you say at every moment. That's what we're trying to achieve, to be in absolute control of everything I think and everything I say. Because
that's going opposite.
When you first think about it, or somebody asks you, are you in control of what you think or what you say? You say, yeah, of course I am. But no, I'm not, because I know that what I need to do is treat every single living thing as if it's an individual expression of the creator himself or herself or whatever. So you are an individual expression of God, as am I. We both are, and we're both either aware or unaware of it, and either aware or unaware of each other's divinity. In the moment when you're engaging with people, it's really different. That all kind of just goes out of my head, and I'm in the moment dealing. It's my ego that sort of comes up to the front and you know, deals with it. And I don't think my ego's too bad. I've got an ego. I'm not ashamed to say it, and it's quite a big ego, but I'm not egotistical. A little bit egocentric maybe, but not egotistical. But it's in the moments afterwards. So if I get into a dispute or somebody does something that pisses me off, and I start thinking or feeling negative things, now it's easier to disengage from that. Like, as soon as I think, oh yeah, but it's just another, that's just, come on, careful man, because that's just God being himself in a different way. And it makes it much easier to let go of that or transmute it into compassion. This is another reason why I love Lavette, because she says basically the Bible is, or the scriptures are, alchemy and astrology. Alchemy and astrology are completely linked, totally inextricably linked together. So it's all about transmuting energy from bad to good. I don't know. We've got so much control, right?
Hang on, Richie. Before you go too far on, I want to touch on something that you brought up just a moment ago about trying to do things from our own strength. So if we're trying to do it from our own strength, from the conscious level or the mortal level, we're not going to be able to do it. That's trying to come up from a different way. Why would we try to do something or fight when we can rest, when we are connected and whole in truth and the higher power, and rest in that and allow that to flow through us? So when we're resting in that, we're not fighting with our own strength from our own vain imaginations or worrying about bad or good. We are actually resting and walking through the blessings and watching instant manifestation happen within our life, watching age regression, watching around us the you know, like I'm going to bring up the Skywatchers again, how they are able to take these pictures of such phenomenal, amazing images captured with, you know, so they got their affirmation and their evidence. So that starts to, so why would we want to have a battle or fight a battle that we don't have to fight when we reach up into the higher understandings or the higher consciousness and can rest in that and just flow?
This is the important thing. So
yes,
what
really
all of us now have to be really, really conscious of is what we're eating. And it's not just about food, it's about what we're feeding our brains.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Eating
energy, that sort of state that you put yourself in. So
if you do not program your subconscious mind yourself or allow the above to do it, somebody else darn sure will. And that will become what you experience on the conscious level. I'm with you.
So we can still, like, we can still delve into the nastier aspect of society, of reality, to try and gain. This is what I do. I do dip into it to try and get an understanding, I think, of the shadow. I don't want to say the enemy, because that puts it into the black and white.
Perfect terminology.
Adversarial.
Shadow. That is exactly
It's
what we're
the
talking
shadow.
about when we're the conscious and
And we
we're seeing
can't live.
duality. That's a shadow. That's
If
looking at a
there's
cave
light,
wall and the light's behind us, and we're looking at distorted images on the wall, not knowing we can turn around and walk out of
so
the cave and
do
then
you know what?
completely experience something different.
Do you know
And
what
it's
Levette says that we are? Do you know what Levette says
I don't know
that we
anything of
are?
Levette, so
I
everything
think
you
it's
said.
beautiful, man. It's beautiful. She says that we are a reflection. We are the reflection of creation, of that creative, infinite intelligence. We are a reflection of it. So we're each individual reflections, expressions. What this negative aspect is trying to do, which is very ego driven, in the three, like they're very, it's weird because they're using spiritual powers for physical benefits, like material, and for power and influence over other humans. And oh man, I've just lost yeah, it's gone. I had a point I was trying to make. I don't know how I'm going to make it.
It was about something from Levette, and you're right. When we're wanting to control, change, or to do something to our brothers and sisters, we need to stop. We need to stop and realize that the only thing we have control over is here within us. And what happens is when we're seeking and we're doing our own inner work, things around us change automatically. Yes. So why are we wanting to control other divine beings? We should never want to control another divine being. So just allow them to be. Don't, why should we hurt them?
As like both of us, we've both been trying to share what we're finding out for ourselves with other people. At the start of the journey, we were both I definitely was desperately trying to wake people up, like, wake up, you got to wake up. Look, there's this and there's this, right, looking at this, right?
I waited a long time.
I remember that when somebody did that with me, in 2008, 2009, I just completely dismissed him and did it. But what he did was plant a seed. And then when I was ready and I got the nudge subconsciously to look into it, the seed was there. So the seed germinated, and that's how it works. And so Levette says, no, nobody can, and this is what I like it, because this is the conclusion that I came to. We can't wake anybody up, because the only thing that's going to wake anybody up, the only thing that's woken any of us up, we can all, absolutely every single one of us that's awake, that's doing this journey, without question, every one of us, I think, will say it's pain. We've hit rock bottom, emotionally, physically. There's been so much pain and anguish in this world that we've looked for answers, and we've gone out and then found out that we need to come in. We've all done that. We've all gone out looking for answers, looking up, looking out, and then all of the answers that we get say, look within yourself. All the answers are within yourself. And then we go, oh yeah, that's what they said in the Christians, isn't it? That's what they said in church.
And
but then all the seeds that
is a schism in our mind. It's just anything that we think that we're lacking or short of, that is in our own confusion. We should know that there's abundance, and there's abundance for all. And what difference does it make how much of a portion each other has when everybody has the same access to unlimited? The only thing that limits us is our subconscious programming that then comes out in the consciousness, and then we interact with that. The limitations are between our ears. And that's why I say when we stand still. Buzzicino brought this up earlier, to stand. When you stand still and allow the connection, the bridge or the third eye or the baptism from above, different cultures call it different things. It builds that bridge to that higher consciousness. There's 3 parts of consciousness. There's a trinity in just about everything we look at. You being the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost in the flesh as a representation of the Trinity. There is 3 in the consciousness. There is the super consciousness. Then we have the subconscious, which is like, as we talk about energy and transmuting energy. Energy comes in neutral, and then whatever intentions, then it goes out, and then the intentions you send out into that energy, then like the heart magnet, will reflect back into us through the spiritual law of karma. But these laws, they have been in place since the beginning. Okay, and then so there isn't any the only thing that is in the way is us. We limit ourselves. We get in our own way. We get the feelings of lack. And therefore, that is what is programmed in the subconscious, again, like energy, neutral. And then through the consciousness, that's what we end up interacting with. When in truth, when we get to the higher realm, if you stand still, and that's in scripture, that's in many of the hieroglyphs, that's in many different cultures, to stand still, be patient, and wait, and allow the process that we're all going through, the refinement, to go on within us. We stand, and then what happens is we rest in something that comes from a much higher, which has always been there for us. It's never left, never forsake us, because how can God separate itself? God cannot separate from God, okay? And through our own confusion and free will, we think we are separated, but we're really not. And so when we rest in that and just allow, what happens is you don't become an automaton. You are still a sovereign, unique, beautifully, perfectly made being. But the energy, like we were talking about with the subconscious, is now like a system reboot. All that old false or vain imaginations that came from our consciousness or from other sources that gave it to us in confusion, that got put into the subconscious, that now we're interacting with, it all flows out. And the truth comes in, and then we find that we are limitless, we're beautiful, we're divine, we're sovereign, we're brothers and sisters, we are all one, although separate expressions and divinely beautiful, different ways of, oh, he fell out, he'll be back, of being the one. But it is a matter of understanding that every single thing that we need is within us. It's always been there, forever the gentleman. When you love somebody and you have just absolute unconditional love for somebody, just unconditional, no matter what they do, you love them through and through. What do? You pour your affections out onto the object of that unconditional love, not wanting anything in return. Now, if you put that kind of a thought process into the creator of this place, and understand that's how much we are loved. That's how much. But also with our free will, we're loved so much that we have been gifted with free will and allowed to experience, or with the like energy, transmuting energy, or the intentions through the subconscious, whether we programmed it ourselves or we allowed somebody else to program it for us, and that becomes the reality or what we are dealing with on a day-to-day. But when we do the inner work and we are drawn within, then we find out the truth about us. We find out the truth about everybody else. And then we stop judging one another, because we know that through our tongue, our vibration, what we're sending out through spiritual law comes back through karmic law. But then we understand also the higher law than karma law, which is the law of grace and forgiveness. But when we go and we are asking for such things as that, we have to know where we went in error, because to just go and ask for forgiveness because things don't seem to be going right, and not acknowledging where we've stumbled or who we've wronged or what we've done, it's pointless to go there. We have to acknowledge where we stumbled and truly know, so that way we don't do it again and we learn. Hopefully he pops back in. Did you guys get this is an open yard. I'll put it back in there again for you guys. Anybody that wants to come in and join in on this conversation, because it's so important. It really is important that we get this understanding and hear it, or start to think on it. Again, always the work is always inside. It's always an inside job. Everything that we do is by choice, because like I said, he's forever a gentleman. He'll wait patiently for us to come. And let's see, let me paste that in there. Okay, that's the link to the yard. So if anybody else wants to come in, hi, Biker Babe, the GPK, Buzzacino, Preliminal, you guys are so awesome. And, we've chosen to go through this awakening. We've chosen to go through this beautiful understanding within us, to know who we are in truth, and to cross that bridge, that third eye awakening, or that baptism from above. And then things become, as we are walking it out, they become clearer and clearer. And then we're no longer moved. We're no longer moved by those that are doing things that are still, that are possibly still operating in thinking that there are two powers. There is good and there is evil, or things of that nature. We're not moved by those things anymore, because you flow in the truth within you thoroughly. And there's one power, one God, one that created everything here. And what kind of a creator is this, that loves us so much, that has given us such bountiful gifts, that if we think it, we believe it, it therefore is true. And that's what is called faith. That's what they call it in the Bible, is faith. Reading the Bible before this process began, the book read completely different than how, as I read it now. When we open that bridge to that higher understanding, I know Richie was talking about in 2008, he wanted to wake everybody up. I waited a very long time. This all started happening in 2000, and I think it was 2018 before I began to speak about it, because I didn't want to say or start talking about, even though I'm still going through the process. But at that time, I had a better understanding, and I didn't want to cause any more confusion, because I was aware of how confused that I was. And if I would talk in confusion and others listened, then I was then causing, was I doing a service, or was I causing more confusion? And that's why, we learn then to, be quiet, stand, be still, and allow for things to flow and come to us, and so we can grow. Know who we are, you guys. The only limitations that we have are the ones that we think that we have. In truth, we're limitless. So anybody that wants to come and join in on the conversation, The link is in the chat. So just pop on in. Otherwise, we'll sew this up pretty quick. I just want people to know how beautiful and amazing, and everybody who's chosen to go through this journey of refinement and awakening to the truth that resides within us, and then begin to walk in it more and more daily. Wow. You already know how amazing this is. And you guys, it's like this. How much better can it get? Every day, as we get more and more clear with our understanding, it gets better and better and better. Things no longer affect us the way that they did. It's just, and we also have compassion, patience. A lot of these things start to just well up within us because we know who other people are and who they are to us, and how each person or associate or everybody in our path is there for either a lesson, a mirror reflection, to either, there's that saying where it says that no one is a friend, no one is an enemy, but everyone is a teacher. So whoever we cross paths with, we're to learn something from it. So either it's a trait that we have within ourselves that we'll see within them, that when we see it within them, we're like, oh, wow, okay, I got some work to do. But we do the work within ourselves. We don't go to that other person and say, oh, well, this is what's wrong with you. No. We then see, observe, and then introspect and do the inner work. And then we are actually transmuting the subconscious. We're transmuting this avatar. We're transmuting, to say that we've been under grace and that, the devil, just to touch on another point Richie brought up, that the devil's been released. Okay, well, if that was true, if that was actually true, then there wouldn't be death. Okay, there wouldn't be sickness and there wouldn't be suffering. When we're truly living under grace and in truth, the truth flowing through, there won't be sickness, there won't be death, there won't be suffering. So to say that grace has been pulled, no, it has not. We are always, that's a higher law. That's a higher law than the law of karma. To understand where we've went in error or what mistakes that we've made, and to go to that higher spiritual law of grace and forgiveness is an acknowledgement of responsibility. We do become more responsible for what we do unto others, how we treat one another. Are we treating them the way we want to be treated? Are we showing them love? Are we loving our neighbors as ourselves? If we're judging or criticizing, then we're not flowing out that unconditional love that's being poured out upon us daily from the one who created all of us, who indwells each of us. So just some things to think about. And I am grateful. I am grateful for everybody that's going along on this journey. It's wonderful to have companionship. It's wonderful for us to talk to one another and to share our experiences and to share and glean from one another higher understandings. So, the company that we keep with one another, it helps to steady us and to keep moving forward. I think back when Christians with Christ, him knowing the truth and seeing that there is no duality, it's a false paradigm, and to walk it alone. And then of course, then he picked up his disciples and taught them, but to be him alone with this understanding welled up within him, the difficulty that, was there for him, being alone in this, it's like, wow, but we, however, have each other to hold hands through this process and to enhance each other's walk and experience. so we can shore up and steady our pace as we're walking through, knowing our true identity, one with God, made from God, God within, knowing that through our subconscious, that is the energetic realm, or the where we need to transmute, and what is in the subconscious then comes out and we experience it consciously or physically. These understandings that we get and that we grow within and get from one another are it's a truth that keeps pouring out blessings and more and more blessings. Like I said, how good can it get, you guys? Really, how good can it get? Is we know and are walking in this truth more and more clearly daily together. It's just awesome. It's just awesome, and all of you are awesome. Is anybody else wanting to come in the yard? Otherwise, I'm gonna zip it up. I do want to make sure that everybody knows that, when we think about being baptized from the Holy Spirit or third eye opening, that basically what we're doing there is it's a bridge that is coming open. It is giving access to, and then allowing us to go into the higher realms of awareness, to understand the work that we need to do to refine that is done within. And we don't do it to try to control or change others. That would be of a schism. That would be of a false paradigm. The work has to be done as a desire from our heart for improvement on ourselves, to be the best creator being, to be the best of all, because we're loved so unconditionally. And why would we not want to project out the best onto our brothers and sisters who we're in this together with, no matter what level of awakening or awareness, or if they've made the choice to go into waking up. It doesn't take away from who they are. They're still divine. They're still our brothers and sisters. So with that, all of that stuff fades away, and we just can see each other as the equals. The only limits that we have are the limitations that we have put onto ourselves. When we begin to remove limitations and just see ourselves expanding more and more and more, then the energy or the subconscious is being reprogrammed, transmuted from lack into abundance. And it doesn't matter who has what or how much they have, because we're each allowed and permitted and actually desired to stop limiting ourselves and allow the flow of abundance be drawn onto each of us. We limit ourselves. Why be jealous of something that somebody else has when we have access to the exact same thing? Nothing is withheld. Nothing. So we walk in this love. We walk in this understanding. We know the work is done within. We know that we have God residing within us. We know where we've come from, and we know where we're going to go when we leave. Things come in that are miraculous, surprising, beautiful, astounding. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. I love you guys so much. And I just, again, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody so much for everything we offer to one another, because we're in this together after all. No one better than another. Equal. We're all equal. So nobody else is wanting to come in and join in. So I'm going to go ahead and zip it up. I hope that you guys understand, the message here of abundance, equality, love, age regression, spiritual law of karma versus the higher law of forgiveness and grace. And as we're walking through this refinement period, and the only limitations that we have are the ones we put on ourselves. So keep stretching our mind, keep expanding, see around you the reflections, mirror reflections of our brothers and sisters, lessons that we are to learn from one another. And we will bridle the tongue for criticism or judgment, because when we're judging others, what are we doing? We're actually judging ourselves. Out of the man's mouth we speak, and that is established in that. Therefore, when people speak, they speak from their heart. So they give themselves away from where they're at in their journey. So if we're criticizing and harming, we're still a little bit in confusion. But it's okay. We all are, to a certain degree or another. I do believe there are some that are walking in the perfected walk. Yeah, I truly do. And I think we're in an amazing time of a mass awakening of who we are in truth, coming into our awareness, removing all limitations and all blockages or anything that has held us in bondage, and allowing the truth to flow through and through. And to say it's an easy thing, no, nobody said it would be easy. When we've allowed others to program our subconscious, then that's what we are consciously seeing. It's hard when you are physically experiencing something to actually have a strong enough faith to know that that's fake, especially when it is of sickness or of things that are harming or disturbing to watch. It's difficult when that is the physical reality that we are dealing with, to have the faith to see into the unseen, to know the truth and walk in that truth, steadfast, standing still, waiting for the full acknowledgement to come within us, is hard. And I commend each and every one of us, each and every one of you, each and every person that is chosen to go through this refinement, expanding and going through the transmuting of within us. It's wonderful. I just love you guys all so much. My cup runneth over. I know you guys know I'm going through a lot in the carnal stuff with the courts and all of that stuff over the loss of my daughter. But I have to say, if I had not started this journey in 2000, I think it would be a lot harder to deal with something like that. Don't get me wrong. My heart's broken. I miss her. My gosh, I miss her. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that there is no place of condemnation. I know that she returned back to whence she came before she incarnated into the avatar body to have the experience here. I know I'll see her again. And that is something to walk in that builds up strength within me and keeps me going day to day to walk by faith, seeing into the unseen realm of plenty and abundance. Getting glances into that daily is awesome. And soon, you guys, many of us are going to walk in that as a part of our conscious reality. And wow, what a day that will be when many of us are walking in such a paradigm. It is a definite paradigm shift. And we are given so many affirmations to keep us, nudging us along, to keep pursuing, keep going forward, keep moving. Because although we stand still, we are still flowing. We're still in motion. The growth is going on within us. And the affirmations help us to restore. So as we're looking at whether it be the sky watchers and the images around, or people walking by and flashing you a smile and just acknowledging you for the divine being that you are, knowing that you are the divine being that you are, walking in this understanding is so beautiful. But together, walking through this hand in hand, what a blessing. What a blessing. I love you guys. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and zip it up. And I just want to thank you guys for coming. I'm sorry Richie fell out. And that, like I said, I will be doing the sessions for anybody that may be stuck or have a blockage, that maybe so we can like punch through that glass ceiling to get up into that higher understanding. So, I flow with things, and I am willing to say when I've changed my mind or my position or with my understanding of, what could benefit others and what is what I may have thought would harm others, that now I know there's nothing here that can harm us. There truly, really is nothing here that can harm us except for our own mind and our own thought process. And then the magnification of our heart is what draws back as we speak out. What we think, we speak, and out of our heart is what's spoke. Because after all, it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, it's what comes out. And therefore, then coming back onto us under the spiritual law of karma, or reaping what we sow, and knowing that there's a higher law, and being able to boldly go to that higher law, understanding that where everything's thrown into the sea of forget, it's gone. No longer having to pay karmic debt for something as you have acknowledged it within. Walking in this together is beautiful, beautiful. I love you guys. I just love everybody so much, and I thank everybody daily. How blessed am I to be surrounded by people like you. I'm about to cry. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Okay, I seriously am, because I really feel you guys are just such a blessing, and we share each other up and we walk through this together. It's beautiful. So I love you, and until next time, remember to share what you know and listen so we can grow and know who you are. Know who you are. Okay. Peace. I'll talk to you soon.